What's the good word, Josh? Boy DKB here. So we are breaking down our next wide receiver prospect for the 2024 NFL draft and who the Jets could potentially pick with the 10th spot in the first round. And Tigo, he pointed this out for me. This wide receiver class is awesome, especially at the top, but it's so deep. There's still names that I'm catching that should go well into, I was going to say day 4, day 5, but round 4 and 5 that may not be starters right away, but they have the capability to excel in a specific role while probably having a pretty strong upside to still become strong number 2s, in some cases number 1 type wide receivers. But Rome Odunze is what brings us here today. Washington's wide receiver phenom, Michael Penix's best target, and the guy that he trusted most in situations when they were down, they needed a clutch play, a touchdown to seal things for the Huskies. And Rome Odunze brings a lot to love to his game film. So getting into it, 6'3", 215 pounds. You're talking about the ideal X-type wide receiver in the NFL. Former 4-star recruit, been with the Huskies for 4 years, but he's a 3-year starter. You can essentially label this guy as a receiver's best friend with catch radius and all of the things he does to make himself a very, very friendly target for Michael Penix and any other quarterbacks he'll be working with in the future. He has that team captain pedigree. We know that Joe Douglas is going to love that. And when you want to take a look at just some of the highlight metrics surrounding Rome Odunze and what makes him a potentially elite wide receiver in this draft class, 70.8 contested catch rate this season. That's best in the entire country among any players that had at least 100 targets. He has 18 receptions of 20 plus air yards. So that lets you know he's still a threat down the field, even at his size. And the best part, the hands. He's only had 7 drops and about 235 targets, even though he had quite a few drops in his first couple of years. He shored that up very quickly, which is what you love to see, right? You don't want an issue to pop up out of nowhere and then now you can't really cipher is this going to be a long-term issue or not. He's been able to go about minimizing the concerns about his game and what he can do when you take athletic ability out of the picture, which is not to say that he's unathletic at his size whatsoever. So what makes him one of the top wide receivers? He has obviously the look and the build of an elite wide receiver. That is always important in the NFL, right? Size and athleticism usually beats all when skill sets aren't quite there. Good change of direction ability for his size. You see him winning a lot using his length and power for separation, which you would be surprised. There's plenty of tall guys coming into the NFL that don't know how to use those natural traits that they were provided with. Not the case with Rome here. He's a good route runner for his size. Contested catch beast, already gave you guys the metrics there, but you'll hear generally with a lot of people talking about Rome Odunze, there's not really a such thing as a 50-50 ball when he's in the pathway. You generally trust that he's going to come down with that ball, which is the best thing you can say about a potential possession type receiver that may not be an elite deep threat. Great catch radius. Obviously, he's going to be super friendly to quarterbacks and may have some accuracy issues. Has yards after catch ability to him, right? He's not the shiftiest guy by any means in his class, but he uses the physical tools that he was gifted to his advantage, right? Obviously, this isn't the best comparison here, but when you want to think about, for example, Tyler Conklin's game, he's not looking to shake and bake anybody. He's looking to run through you, even though you see that element of his game in the route running, and I would say you can bet on the same thing here with Rome Odunze. Great ball tracking skills, finds leverage in man situations, and he has the IQ to know when he needs to sit on routes and where he can find the open spots in zone coverage, which is always important. Underappreciated flexibility and agility for Rome Odunze. When I ended up checking out a couple of his games, the highlights, some all 22 stuff, he makes things look so natural and smooth during any movements, releases off the line of scrimmage, route running, breaking off his stems, separating to go deep. All of these things look extremely natural. They look calm. They look patient. And it's really kind of a sight to behold, right? Especially, again, from a guy that's 6'3", you'd expect a little bit more of some lumbering movements and stuff. And he looks like he really plays at his own speed on the field, which is a huge compliment. He damages a lot of defenders with double moves and head fakes. You'll see some elite body control out of him with some of the catches that he's going to make, especially in traffic. Essentially a master at timing the catch point, right? Undoubtedly his best trait is the ability to go and high point the ball, understanding when he can allow a ball to come into him to try to get some extra yards versus when he needs to secure that catch and go and post up his defender. And generally he can probably show a lot of NFL wide receivers how this is done perfectly. Boxes out defenders one-on-one and in traffic, so not only does he win on the outside in one-on-one situations, you'll see him be a sneaky good slot threat if you want to try to manipulate matchups. An active run blocker, and one of the best traits that the NFL loves, especially the old-fashioned guys, is the toughness. He admitted himself once the season was well done and over with, he played through not only a punctured lung, but a broken rib, which is something I can appreciate. Not in the same ballpark here, but anybody that has asthma or any other lung-related issues, you understand how precious being able to breathe without an issue is. So not only playing through that, but also the broken ribs, which, takes time to heal. There's no speed-up process with that, and you're going to get punished with some of the things that he does and the physicality that he plays with. Now, obviously, no receiver is perfect. Some of the things, although very few and very nitpicky, is he's not a burner, right? This just isn't in his game. He's not the 6'3" guy that's running a 4 foot, that's running a 4.3 40. But I did see something interesting about him being on Bruce Feldman's freak list, and there was something about him running something like a 4.34, something crazy like that. I would say that's unexpected, and if he does end up running it, right, some people are better at straight line speed than football movements. Don't expect that to be a part of his game that you can rely on. Not explosive in any elements. It's definitely different from speed. You aren't going to see ridiculous, breaks coming in and out of cuts or anything that just kind of wows you and blows your mind. So again, just not a part of his game. More of his, physical limitations with his build. Occasionally will get beat versus two-handed jam. So this is just one of those things with bigger guys. You expect them to always be able to out-muscle, out-physical somebody else, but you can see guys that kind of get into him a little bit on occasions, throw off some time here, throw off the ability for him to go up and do some of his normal, physical routine catches. Release footwork can also be a little bit delayed, which is going to reduce his ability to attack routes early and kind of get that initial leverage on his, defenders. And then you can see him stop some routes, specifically shorter routes, things like shallows, different things of that nature, while he's trying to peek into the backfield just to make sure he's not in scramble drill situations. Ultimately, elite guy here, right? Back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He's coming off a 1,500 plus yard season in 2023 with 13 touchdowns. And the pro comps get even better to make you fall in love with them a little bit more. Cortland Sutton, Mike Evans. The Miles Austin one threw me for a little bit. So I won't say that's definitely one of the best ones, but you definitely love the two names prior. This is a guy that I would love for us to pick at number 10, assuming we don't have any tackles that are worth the value at 10 for us, obviously being Fuaga, Fashanu, and Joe Alt. I wish we had our offensive line class together a little bit more, because I would love to trade for any of these wide receivers that we've covered so far. Obviously, Marvin Harrison is excluded, but he would be the cream of the crop. But ultimately, don't sleep on this guy. I don't think anybody really will, but let me know what you think about Rome Odunze, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.